right, let's deep dive into formal English. We're gonna have first a quick exercise for everyone. Next slide, please. So it's important to set first the definition of formal English, right? Formal English is used for more official and serious purposes. The correct grammar should always be used. So formal English essentially is the type of English. We have informal English, we have semi-formal English, and we also have formal English. So those are the three types of English when it comes to like discussion on like the business side and like the corporate and on the workplace. So for formal English, what you're gonna do is it's usually more applicable in formal settings and formal setup. So if you're going on like a meeting, if you're going to go to a job interview, if you're going networking, or you're about to speak to a crowd, you usually use formal English because again, its purpose is for more official and serious events. So that is the definition of formal English for everyone to use. And then next, these are the things that define a formal English, right? It uses specific vocabulary for the subject. It also uses the correct grammar and punctuation. This is for the writing. Grammar and punctuation is really important for formal English because you try to be as complete as you can when you're communicating through this method. It also has a more serious tone, and it often uses complex sentence structures, meaning it's not just simple sentences. It's not only simple sentences. It usually has like multiple subjects on one sentence, and also has like complex grammars that we usually, or complex vocabulary that we usually common English learners do not usually use. So if you're gonna use formal English for your job interview, it will really help you impress your employer, because you're going to integrate some words that are not usually used by common English learners. So I think these are words. Of course, we just want to preface yet again that these are formal English term options, but there are also other alternatives that you can search for. For example, Sylvie mentioned a while ago with the job. One formal English term for that is profession, but it can also be occupation, right? So there are other options that we have for the formal English terms, but this is just an exercise, right, to preface our discussion. One tip that I want to give you for the next slide, we have here why we should avoid phrasal verbs, right? So phrasal verbs are usually used for casual discussions. For example, here are some examples that we have and why we think that for English interviews specifically, we really have to avoid using phrasal verbs because they are actually terms that we should use in order for us to show that we actually really know the topic and we understand the discussion, and we're able to comprehend the message that has come across us. So one example for this is, for example, the first one here, we have the price went up. So the phrasal verb there is went up, and the word that we can use to as equivalent to went up is rose or increased. So it immediately sounds more formal, and it immediately sounds as if you know what you're talking about. It immediately sounds as if you're fluent with English. So if you're, for example, vying for a position at a company that speaks mostly English, or their English, their language in the company is mostly English, you can use the word rose or increased. So that's one example for you. And the next, the client asked for a contract, and then we can use, for asked for, we can use, oh, go back.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Oh no, you're revealing.
I'm so sorry.
The client asked for a contract and the client requested for a contract. You guys have other terms that you can substitute for requested or asked for? You can also use, what else do we have for this one? Requested. I don't know the other terms for asked for, but requested I think is a really good term that you can substitute for asked for. And the next, the problems have come back, the problems have returned, or you can also use the problems have reoccurred. Yeah, those are your options for this one. And then we will cut down on spending, we will reduce spending. Immediately, it gives like this vibes that you know what you're talking about and you're an expert at the topic that you're talking about.